Hey guys, Arrow here. So I want to try something different with you guys today. I'm going to show you guys a match I played on Carentan as squad lead, and I'm going to break down all of the decisions I made for myself and for my unit, and kind of go through the process of reading the map, interpreting the situation, and then giving your squad mates direction and what to do. And hopefully by watching this, you guys, when you take the squad leader role, it helps you out, and you can more easily read your map and make similar style decisions. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Alright, I'm gonna make a infantry squad and we'll do some defense.
Alright.
I got it easy.
Okay, alright.
Hey guys, we're gonna be playing defense on town center. And if we don't cap town center, then we'll play defense on customs.
Sounds good.
That fucking truck better not take off or I'm gonna kill someone.
I'm gonna spawn at the top spawn.
You got two
I'm gonna
fucking
spawn at top
seats,
spawn.
don't you
If you guys
fucking
wanna join,
drive.
that's where I'll be.
How many people
I already
spawned
fucked
middle?
up.
That's okay. We'll link up later. Alright, so the start of the battle is really simple. You want to get to town center as quickly as possible. That's what you want. If you're slacking, not getting to town center fast, you're going to lose the midpoint. And midpoint is game winning point. So everyone on both teams should be hauling ass to get to town center, right? And Germans, which we're playing here, have a disadvantage. And the reason why is right here, Americans have easy way to get to town center. So they'll spawn at mid, they'll come down this road here, right? And make their way into town center. That's how they get in there, right? That's the middle one, and the top one will be something like this, coming down here, right? And easy to follow the road, right? And their bottom truck usually will do something like this down here, and also come into town center. So really easy to get to town center. Their disadvantage is they usually only have one way in, which is this road right here, but their trucks generally don't get stuck. Germans, however, on the other hand, their trucks are never in a good spot because of all of this crap down here. All this crap. There's so many creeks and all this stuff that just gets in the way, and usually trucks get stuck. It happens all the time because drivers want to take it short, they don't want to follow the road, and they get stuck. So your driver at the start is really critical. So what we're trying to do, which we are in this truck right here. Let's make this green, right? Get rid of that. All right, so we're in this truck right here. Luckily, our driver's pretty good. He knew what he was doing. He got us on the red road from top spawn, and we are just trying to drive into town center. So ideally, this truck that I'm in should be every seat full, and everyone should be going in to get to town center to have the big standoff right here. This is what we want. However, unfortunately, most people like to spawn at the middle. I don't know why, that's just how it goes. Everyone spawns at the middle. So my truck's only got 3 people. We're already at a disadvantage. The other truck is down here. And you can see it looks like there's a lot of people outside of the truck. People are probably starting to get out of it. I imagine the driver's probably starting to get stuck places. And that's not good, because that's the full truck. That's the truck that needs to get to town center as quickly as possible. So what he's supposed to do is drive right on this road, right here, and then he has to turn and come into town center. Or he could, he could turn down here and maybe flank the guys that will be coming into town center, right? Get some pressure going this way. Um, that's usually how it goes. But you want this truck full, and this truck can be full or not be full. But we're in worst of both scenarios. This truck, which is full, it's not in the right spot, and it seems to be getting stuck. Our truck, which is doing good, only has like 3 people in it. Me and like 2, 3 others. That's it. So it's like empty. So that's where we're at right now. Trying to get to town center as quick as possible. That's the goal.
Hey, if you want, I can hop out and build that Gary if you keep going.
Alright, so the squad leader who's in the truck with me now, he offered to hop out and build a garrison. So it might not be completely obvious to people that are newer, that are playing squad lead, but generally what you want is at least, at the start of the match, you want at least 1 garrison that you can spawn off of and go right into town center. So our commander, he's thinking ahead. He's dropping supplies right here, which is on our blue line, somewhat close to town center. It's a good spot. So ideally, you would want one squad lead to step out of one of the 2 trucks that are passing by, and build a garrison, and then continue the rest of the journey into town center on foot. So the only other squad lead that's in our truck offered to hop out, because we're gonna pass by through here on the way to town center. So you can easily hop out, go build the garrison, and then continue on foot and come back and join the rest of it. Right? That's what he's offering to do.
Turn right, bro. Dead end here. Turn right.
Hey, you go for it. I'll stay in. Did he crash the truck?
Not yet.
Everyone's
Alright,
getting
yeah,
out
I'm
of
gonna
it.
hop out. Keep going.
Hey, you stay in. I'm gonna hop out. My team's gonna go defense. Oh shit, you already hopped out. Never mind. Alright, so you might be a little confused on why the indecisiveness on the decision to hop out or get in or who's gonna build the garrison, at least from my part. So the reason why I'm putting all of my eggs in this truck right here to not get stuck. Hang on. This truck right here to not get stuck is it's got all the people. That truck is going to determine if we take town center, contest town center, or lose town center. This truck is the make or break. And the purpose of my squad, usually how I like to do it, is play defense, because nobody plays defense, and that's where usually most of the action is. Every now and then you'll do a little babysitting, but most of the time you're going to get some action. Most of the action. So ideally, I'd like to defend town center. So they can't take customs right now. Customs is neutral. Well, to be fair, customs is our territory, but they can't cap it until town center, which is currently neutral, gets determined. So what I'd like to do is, if this truck, the one I'm putting all my eggs into, if this truck doesn't get stuck, and it continues on course, going this way and this way, or coming down this way and either coming up here or putting pressure this way, as long as that truck doesn't get stuck, I want to ride the truck out that we're currently in and go right to town center, and I want to drop my outpost down, and I want to get my guys in there to start putting pressure on town center. Like, I want to be there for that cap. However, the problem is this truck has got all the people in it. There's only 3 people in my truck that I'm in. That's not enough people to take on the entire American army. It's just not enough. We'll just die. Um, we might not die right away, but we're gonna get overrun. So this truck is important. This truck needs to get there. Um, but because the truck got stuck, and you can see here, everyone's out of it. It's facing the wrong way. It's not on the road. It's not working out so good. And because of that, what I'd like to have happen, ideally, if I could have responded a little bit quicker and able to stay in just a second longer, was I would have gotten out of the truck as we passed by here. I would have went down. I would have placed this garrison on these supplies right here, maybe in this like little courtyard here. And after that, I would have then turned this way and walked up to customs. That I could have done that perfectly. I could have been set up for defense. My assumption is, if Abel stays in the truck like I intended, and I get out and build the garrisons, Abel would be able to stall town center long enough for at least us to get our attack garrison set up. So maybe the one here, and maybe I would have set one like over here somewhere, right? That's in an ideal world. But I couldn't respond quick enough. Abel got out already. Now you think, well, hey, Arrow, why don't you just ride the truck out? You're in the truck. You're the only squad lead. Just ride it out to town center and try to stall them on town center. So the reason why I'm not doing that is nobody plays defense. When I say nobody plays defense, I mean nobody likes to play defense. So if I get out and I set my squad up on town center, I'm gonna have a pretty good OP, and we're gonna stay alive, if not for the entire fight. Even past after we lose town center, which we inevitably will, because I'm only one squad. And once we lose town center, I don't think anyone's going to be at customs. I actually think nobody will be at customs, because nobody plays defense, especially when the points are kind of far away. Like, the distance between town center and customs is quite big. And usually there'll be possibly, if the American truck from the top right here, if he doesn't go like this, he might go like this in anticipation to then cross this bridge here and go right into customs right away. If not, maybe a recon team hops out on pumping and then works its way and does exactly that, just on foot rather than by truck. So my squad's got to be on defense. So playing defense and getting ready to play defense on customs is more important. I think, to the big picture of the game than me stalling town center for an extra minute or two and getting a couple kills, because that doesn't matter. I want to make sure that we're good. So, um, at the end of the day, we kind of did get both of the worst possible outcomes with the only, because there's only 2 squad leaders in the truck I'm in. Abel, so Abel's going to get out and he's going to build the garrison. And then I intend also to get out and move to customs, because I already see town center as a loss. You know, this truck has crashed. Everyone's getting out of it. Our whole team is walking. We're not getting a town center in time to cap it. So town center is lost for sure. So I need to move to customs ASAP. The only thing which every now and then it happens is the Americans have just as bad of a start as the Germans, and you know, maybe they crash their trucks. Maybe not enough people got in the trucks. Maybe they don't build an attack garrison. Those are all a bunch of maybes. But I like to play it safe. Make sure that we can be in a position to win. If not win, then come back. So that's the route that I go for. Abel's gonna go build the garrison. That's fine. I'm also gonna get out and build the garrison, which means this truck right here that I'm in currently is a dead truck. There's like 1 guy, 2 guys in it. Nothing's gonna happen there. But that's okay. You know, we can always retake town center as long as we get set up. And that was the plan.
I'm driving the fucking thing. Man, our driver's dumb as shit. Let's go, boys.
Everyone, it's too late.
Oh, hey, lazy. Get in, fuckers!
Alright, by the situation of the trucks, it looks like we're going to lose town center, so I'm gonna get us moving to customs right away.
Oh, well, you got
Not
that one
stopping for
transport
anyone
truck
else.
with 1 person in it. He's gonna make it.
He'll get killed.
Go into custom.
Machine.
You tried and you failed. Trying is a first step to failure, but that's okay. Grenade on my body. Get away from me. Get away from me.
It's a tank on the main road.
Oh, maybe not.
So basically, when you're playing squad lead, almost all times you should be thinking, what part of the map do we not control, and how can I build a garrison on that part of the map so we can control it? So right now we've got 1 attack garrison right here. That's pretty good. We've kind of have a south presence to continue an attack. So you know, people like Dog and Baker, they're coming down this way, and then people can come this way, and you know, maybe 1 splits this way and goes like that. So we can start to envelop town center on the south side. That's good. However, it's important that we get the north side up too. So what I'm thinking is to build a garrison somewhere here in these factory buildings. That way we get a somewhat of a warning system if enemy attackers are trying to, you know, come right down this way, or you know, maybe even they're coming down this way. And in addition to that, not only is it like a warning system, but it can also be used to maintain a presence on the north side of town center, so people can spawn, you know, at these factories, and maybe they, you know, they move down this way, come into town center like this, maybe get a north flank going, come into the church, and then we can really get control of town center, you know, assuming our guys are winning the firefights that, you know, take place throughout this area here. And if we get that set up, the only thing that, you know, might be a red flag as far as defending customs would be is any Americans trying to cross the bridge up here to get into customs. And that would be our only concern once this garrison's set up. So easy enough. I just, you know, drop my OP down in this area here in the factories. I get my support guy to come in, and then he drops the supplies, and then we have a garrison there. And if you do look at, you notice on town center, it is mostly a loss. Town center is like almost completely lost. They pretty much got it wrapped up, and only now is our team finally starting to arrive. You know, it is good that my buddy, he took control of that truck that did initially get stuck and everyone got out of, and drove it up, and it looks like he got a couple people there early on. But still, it's not enough to take town center. It's still going to be a loss. So that was expected, so that's what we planned for. Hey Sloth, can you come in as a support player for One Life? I'm setting Gary here. Drop a tweet for you.
I will try, I will be honest. And I was sexually confused, but I will make you proud.
I have faith in you.
Do you get the commander to put a supply truck on top?
Hammer, go tap, tap, tap.
Commander, can you put a supply truck up
Tap,
north?
tap, tap. Oh, does the supply thing like regen? Am I
Yeah,
just stupid?
it'll come back in
Oh,
5
good.
minutes. Yep.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. I'm waiting for that recon team to try to come across the bridge. So what you see me checking out on the binoculars here is probably the only way that they could get an early start to attack customs. And that's coming across the boat bridge here, which I mentioned earlier. So in between these two pieces of land, there's a bunch of boats. Some are sunk, some are floating, but you can walk across them and get from over here to over here. So at the moment, that's pretty much the only way that they can attack. It's too early for an airhead, which usually, will come down in these locations. I think it takes what 10 minutes for them to get their airhead. It's only been like 5 or so. So they don't have an airhead, at least not yet. And this our outpost, the one I placed, and the garrison I placed is not lighting up red. So they're likely not here, at least not yet. And the only realistic place that they could come from for an early start is across the bridge. So I was just checking that out. I hope I could get an early spot on that. And luckily, it seems like they're not coming from that way, at least not yet.
Well, I could put a Belgian gate up in front of the bridge.
Remember, they can cross the river.
They don't know that.
So the bridge that my buddy Gigafreckle's talking about is not the bridge that I was looking at up here. It's not this boat bridge, but instead he's talking about building a Belgian gate on this one here. So you would think that bridge, by the way, is really, really thin. So a Belgian gate would stop at least vehicles. I don't think it would stop infantry to cross the bridge. I still think they could go around it. But let's say, perfectly, the Belgian gate fits perfect, and infantry actually cannot walk across the bridge because it's there. They can still walk this little section here. So this little area here is crossable. And a lot of people actually don't know that. And you see people walk across this bridge, but they don't have to. There's actually a lot of weeds and grass and stuff in this area, so you can just walk right across there. You can even put your OPs in this area here when you're attacking, and sometimes they don't even get seen there because it's just nobody expects it. So that's what we're referring to there. All right, I'm gonna put an observe mark here. So what's going on right here is I'm already thinking in my head, where can our next garrison go? So I've got one here, right? We've got this one to establish the north attack. We've got this one here to establish the south attack. Now I'm thinking I want a garrison inside customs. So normally you wouldn't want to place garrisons inside of strong points. Because generally what happens is you just get surrounded from every angle. You give up all your flanks, and you're just kind of stuck in the middle. So no matter where you look, you're getting shot from your left, your right, your behind, your front. They're everywhere. They're just all over. So generally you don't want to build inside of strong points. The exceptions that I tend to work with is if it's a position like customs where it's heavily defendable. So like we've got this big warehouse that we can sit up in. All of customs is surrounded by a big wall, and there are some like bins and like oil bins or whatever crates you can stand on and shoot over the walls. So it's pretty defendable. So I think it's in a public match, it's okay. Build a garrison in the strong point. It's not that big of a deal. But what has to be accounted for when you're building these garrison is you need to manage the space between your garrisons. So you need 200 meters. And the way that I kind of visually see that is 200 meters is about this distance here, right? The one grid square is about 200 meters. So if there's a garrison here, I can fit one here, right? That'll be a 200-meter distance. If it's right here, and let's say I wanted to build a red zone Gary, I would have to be like right here, and I can build it there. And that's your 200-meter distance. But despite it being kind of straightforward in that sense, a lot of people still struggle. It's one thing I noticed that like so many squad leads struggle. I hear it on command chat all the time. I tried to build a garrison, but it said it's too close to similar structure. I don't know what to do. I can't figure this out. Somebody else do it, and the garrison just never gets built, and you lose your point. So to make it really really easy, on top of knowing the distance and about 200 meters in a square, what you can do is you can put a mark down. So I put an observe mark down, and you might be wondering when that happened. Like, wow, why would you put a mark on your own garrison? What are you trying to do? So if the mark's on the garrison and I just walk 200 meters away, I can turn around and occasionally look at my mark and see how far I'm away from it. So it's like 150, I'm 175, so I know I need to get 25 more meters away from that mark, and then I can build my garrison. So that's the plan, right? I put the mark down, and then I walk away, and I'll look behind me occasionally, check that mark, and if I'm 200 meters away, then I know I'm good. Um, and visually, I can see that these supplies here is about at the line, so this will be about 200 meters around this area here. So that's the plan here. One thing I didn't notice while this was happening live is Jig actually built a garrison here. So I'll have to account for both distances, his garrison and this one. So what I'm going to do eventually, which you'll see, is I'll put a mark on this garrison here that Jig built, and I'll keep looking at mine, and I'll just look at both of them and see when I'm 200 meters away from both. Once I'm 200 meters away from both, I can build the extra garrison. Um, it's kind of wild. It still blows my mind that you know squad leaders have such a hard time managing the distance, but that's the trick. That makes it really simple. Use that in your game when you're playing squad lead. It makes life so much more simple.
We had a fucking newbie, and he spent like the first 3 minutes running into the bridge. Like, I wish I was kidding, but it really was like the first 3 minutes, just him backing up and hitting the same hedge over and over.
So you might be wondering why, when I get right here, you see me about to place this garrison down here. You might be wondering, well, why didn't you place it? Why did you run off to this corner up here? So the reason why you generally don't want to build garrisons where I was just looking, right back here, a couple seconds, is it's really close to the edge of the wall, of the perimeter of the strong point, right? And if you build a garrison like right on the wall, Americans could be on the other side of that wall and not in a position to break your garrison, but just because they're so close to the wall and your garrison's on the wall, it prevents you from spawning. They proxy block it from you being able to spawn. So those garrisons that show up and they're completely red. And you want to avoid that as much as possible. It's why also when you build your outposts, you generally don't want to build them right on a hedgerow, because if the enemy gets on that same hedgerow but on the other side, they'll break your outpost, and they might not even be in a position to do that. They just happen to walk by it. So generally, you want to build your garrisons and your outposts away from things where enemies can be on the other side of it. So that's why I walk away in this case here. Structure. Ah, shit. Gotta account for this one though. Okay. Can I squeeze it in between these two? I think I can. 200 right here. Alright, so I know what you're thinking. I know exactly what you're thinking. You just listened to me explain to you how you should not build garrisons on walls, and then you watched me put the garrison right on the wall. So, it's important to have that general rule of thumb, but it does contradict with another rule of thumb, which is a garrison is better than no garrison. So it's better to just have this garrison that could be proxy blocked on the other side of the wall, just have it down, than to not have one at all. And it's definitely better to build the less optimal garrison than it is for me to go on command chat, tell Jig, hey, can you get a different support guy to place supplies 20 meters to your south and take down the garrison you just built and then rebuild the one over there? That's just too much. By the time he does that, even if he were to do that, we'd be like 5 minutes in, and shit would start to hit the fan, and we don't want to waste time. So we'll take a suboptimal garrison. It's better than nothing. And we'll leave it at that. Alright. We're set up. Alright guys, and with that should wrap up the setup video on this Carentan match here. I hope all of these little tips that I give and how I read the map and make the decision that's best for any given time, I hope that's all helpful to you. In the next video, we're going to show what happens in customs. We're going to show the fight for customs. And if you're looking at the map, you might get an idea of what's going to happen next as you see Jig and Abel mark some infantry up here. So please put in the comments, what do you guys think is going to happen in the next video? How do you think they're going to attack customs? Do you think they're going to come across this bridge here? Do you think they're going to come right through here? Do you think maybe they'll drop an airhead here, 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 something like that? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you think they're going to try to take customs. And more importantly, do you think they'll take customs? Do you think we'll take town center? I'm curious to hear what you guys think based off of what you see right here in this with all these garrisons set up. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And with that, I hope you joined the video. Peace.